Hola, diga hola. Good morning, y'all, y buenos dias. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about why we need to stop gender stereotyping our children. So if y'all are interested, then keep on watching. Alright, so when it comes to gender stereotypes for our children, a lot of the times it gets overlooked because we have such control over our children's lives, right? And to a certain extent, everything that they do and don't do kind of falls within that realm of what we find acceptable. And so by restricting them to these certain boxes of what they can and can't do is really harmful, not only to them personally, but to us as a society as a whole. By allowing what a common interpretation of gender, which to a lot of people means the genitalia between our kids' legs, which that is a whole nother topic. For the sake of this conversation, I'm going to be referring to it as that. In so much of what we do, literally even before they are earthside, I mean, I'm talking when they're still in our stomach, we have this whole complete idea of what we think they are like, solely because of their genitalia. And that is so wrong. It's just incorrect. You cannot know and determine what someone's gonna like based on that, and also extremely weird, like for so many different reasons, just really, really weird. And so we have this whole, gender reveal party ideas and pushing these notions of what the child is gonna like before we even meet them. ¿Le gustan los aretes? By saying, well, my child has a penis, therefore they're gonna like trucks, the color blue, they're gonna like to play outside in the mud, and so limiting their capacity to what they really will like. And so by pushing these ideas on them from the moment before they're even born, we are creating unbalanced people. So much of the way that we raise our children is unconscious, and that's because we have these preconceived notions of what certain genders do. And so the first and foremost thing that we need to do is recognize them in ourselves. Start thinking about these things. Start thinking, okay, to me, what is my idea of what a woman can and can't do? What is my idea of what a girl can and can't do? What is my idea of what a boy can and can't do? Can a girl play with trucks? Can a boy play with dolls? All of these ideas, if you have these limited notions of what we can do as people, we're limiting our children. And so first, we need to recognize those ideas in ourselves so that we can correct them. And then once you are able to kind of, move forward from that and steer away from those very limiting ideas, we can go into how we want to raise our children. And so we want to raise our children to be these complete and whole beings without limitations of what they can like or not like based on their genitalia. Okay? So Luna, I think, is one of the most bomb examples of this. So Luna, ever since she was little, has just had a fascination with so many different things. And most children are that way. Most children, if given the opportunity to explore all of their options, they're gonna like a lot of different stuff, and they're not gonna be limited to a certain category of what is a girl toy or what is a boy toy. Those notions are so ridiculous that it's almost baffling that people still follow that rhetoric of a girl toy and a boy toy. Because, first of all, what does that even mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. Children are children. Let them be children. That's basically the takeaway of this entire thing. But anyways, the idea that girls have to play with dolls and boys can play with cars and tools and creating this binary that literally doesn't need to exist. ¿Tienes sueño, mijo? By limiting what they can and can't play with, you're holding them back. And therefore restraining them of even having those possibilities of figuring out who they really want to be, what they really like to explore. Do they enjoy cooking, or do they enjoy playing with the calculator? Whatever it may be. I think that Luna is such a great example of this because she's a kid who just loves so many different things. She doesn't base her options on whether it's for a girl or for a boy, and I really am so thrilled to see that in her. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that we never limited or we never encapsulated those options as for them to fall on the gender binary. For us, it was literally just whatever it is that you like. And so when they're babies, they don't know what they like yet. And so by giving them those options, by giving them endless options regardless of what their gender is really great. Because whether a child likes to play with dolls or likes to play with trucks or likes to play with both or likes to play with neither, that's the whole fun of it, is figuring out who your little people are and not limiting what they can and can't be. And so I highly suggest that when they're babies, Kwali's age, you know, just give them all of the options. Kwali goes around and puts everything in his mouth, so it doesn't even matter what it is at that point, you know. But as they get older, they see that those options are truly available to them, that they're not limited by this idea of this is a girl toy, so I have to play with this, or this is a boy toy and I have to play with this. So by creating those arbitrary distinctions, you're limiting them. You are holding them back from things that they could possibly really enjoy as they get older. Such a common one is letting boys play with dolls, right? That's still, the fact that it's still even a thing is hilarious, but the fact that people feel really uncomfortable with their young boys playing with dolls, yet at the same time, when those men grow up and they're really absent, distant fathers, they wonder why. And it's because we have this toxic idea that a man should not be nurturing, that a man should not be comforting. And we teach these ideas from birth, y'all. We teach all of these hardcore ingrained stereotypes from the time that they're babies. And so by allowing children to play and explore the world around them through play, which is how children learn, in an endless route, not limited to by their genitalia, they're able to become wholer, fuller people. Blah, blah, blah. Another great thing is to have your children play with children regardless of their gender. I think that we as human beings love to separate, right? And that's a natural thing. But as these higher conscious beings, we need to also realize that some of our actions can be damaging. And so by allowing your children to play with children regardless of their gender, they're able to kind of pick at these ideas of all boys do this or all girls do this, because people are different and children are different. And so they'll see and they'll recognize that not all of those people are the same, right? Because every single person is different. And so by showcasing that, by allowing your son to play with little girls, by allowing your little girl to play with little boys, they're able to see, well, it's not all boys that are like that. It's not all girls that are like that. It's just so-and-so's like that, or so-and-so isn't like that. And so I think that that's another really great thing, is by intermixing children, they need to be able to hang out with people who are different than them. And that's regardless of gender, but also of race, also of everything. So this one may be one of the harder things to do, but it's check the people around you. You have to be so bold when it comes to parenting. You have to be really sure of yourself, and you have to know your values and be sure of them, because people, the second they feel that you're not 100% sure in what it is that you're doing, they'll capitalize on it and attack it and make you feel all kinds of ways that you did not want to feel. And so if someone says something that's like low-key sexist in front of your kid, you need to mention that. You need to be like, hey, you know, we're raising our children not to believe that sort of nonsense. I'm gonna need you to not say that around my kid. And that could be really hard, and trust me, it is, but you have to do it. As a parent, you have to put your kid before anything, right? And so by calling people out, regardless of what it is, it's gonna be awkward, but it's for the best of your child. And also your child is learning that too. It's seeing and will mirror that behavior of like, hey, I need to step up and speak out whenever someone says something that's just not right. And so that's a pretty bit of an awkward one, and that kind of goes along with the fact of like gifts and toys from other people. And so that's something that we did before Luna was even born, so that's kind of like it was an easier way of handling, I think, by just saying like, hey, we aren't going to be perpetuating like hella princess vibes or hella like dumpster truck vibes, whatever it is, on our child, regardless of what they are. So like, feel free to give toys of a variety. Like, they don't need to be any sort of specific. Same thing with clothes, same thing with whatever. And I think that people may get the wrong idea of it, and it's hard. It's hard because like people just want to like give your kids stuff, you know, I get that. But as the parent, you're the one in charge. And so you just have to stand up for what you think, and it can be really awkward, but you gotta do it. You gotta do it. And so by doing those things, I think that a lot of the initial work gets started. As time goes on, there's so many other things that we need to do. And again, I'm gonna try to turn this into a series because there's just so much that I can talk about this topic, and I would go on for hours. But those are just like the core things that I think that really need to be done as a whole, y'all, because we're limiting our children for no reason whatsoever. I'm so proud of Luna in the fact that she just likes what she likes, because isn't that just like the purest, most innocent thing you want? Is like, she loves Spider-Man. And that story is funny enough because the reason she likes Spider-Man is not because of the cartoon. She actually never watched the series or anything like that. It was actually from her at her pediatrician's office. The person who cleans the windows over there wears a Spider-Man costume. So this entire time she thinks that Spider-Man is actually a window cleaner. And so she will wear a Spider-Man costume with bows in her hair and boots on and just literally whatever, you know? And that's what it is to be a kid. And so I think that by starting off with these points, we'll be heading in the right direction. There's no point in limiting our children based on what we perceive their gender to be. That's just such a silly notion. As always, if y'all have any comments or questions, please head over to my Instagram. That's Kamati for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later.